What's up, everybody, dude? We are rolling already, and with Lawrence McNair, and we're talking about enthusiasm and positivity. We have the enthusiasm going already, and I can't wait just to keep rolling into this conversation that we got going on. So we're going to take the next 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to talk about enthusiasm, positivity, how it ingrains into your life. Larry at the end is going to give you the top 3 tools to help men keep that enthusiasm and positivity in their life, to be men who are on purpose and on fire every single day. So John, what's up? How you doing? And introduce Lawrence to everybody.
Super well after the holiday, which was amazing. You know, Thanksgiving was a great time, and just super awesome to be here. Meeting Larry here. This was awesome. The conversation's been great so far. And then I go pop open the bio here, and then I'm like, oh, it makes sense. This is all good stuff in here. So, it's Lawrence is a anti-aging thinking coach for men 40 and over, which I may qualify for that. Certified Think and Grow Rich coach, human behavior specialist, and a motivational speaker. So look forward to him, sharing with all of us, and say hello to our audience and give us a win for the week for you.
Oh, hey, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah. Tag, you're it.
I thought the bio was going to go on and on, but it's time for the win of the week. My win of the week is what did I do? Usually when I move into a new place, I got this thing like meet 90 people in 90 days. Whenever I move into a new place, and I moved to San Diego 6 months ago. And I want to say that I'm up to probably I was working on my 7th round of 90 people. So now that I've been in San Diego for 6 months almost, I do know 180 people.
Nice. That's
I made it to the 180 people person that I befriend since I've been here in San Diego. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to talk about enthusiasm and positivity. And guys, listeners here, I'm going to tell you right now, if Larry's been on a couple other shows in the past and stuff, if you aren't positive after this and you aren't enthusiastic after this, I don't know, you need to go to the gym, work out or something like that, or whatever it is. But man, we're going to have a great time. We had a great time. I love talking with Larry. He's a friend of mine, and the wisdom that comes out of Larry is just incredible. But just looking at that enthusiasm and positivity. So Larry, can you just give just a little background, a quick background of kind of where you're from, how give us a 2-minute from birth till now.
No pressure. Just saying, no pressure at all. 2 minutes. Go.
2 minutes. You better talk like that little mini micro machine guy. You better talk fast.
Wow, a lot of things can happen in 60 years, Clay, from birth till now. A lot of stuff can happen. Well, again, my name is Lawrence McNair. I'm a chiropractor by trade. Just a few things that some people may not know. I always tell people I went from adjusting spines to adjusting minds.
Yeah.
So now instead of adjusting spines, because a lot of people have issues with their mind, just like they do with their health. I grew up born and raised, and I grew up in Mississippi. I attended Mississippi State University. I was back, in the 70s for sure. I went to a chiropractic school, a Life Chiropractic College in Marietta, Georgia. That was a long time ago as well. What else have I done? I practiced chiropractic for a bunch of years. I've been a chiropractor for 36 years. It don't even seem like that long, but it's been 36 years. I've been married, divorced as well. I have 2 kids. My daughter Bianca is 28. My son Isaac is 25. I have a beautiful granddaughter Kaylee. She's 4 years old. Both of my kids live in Tampa, Florida. I moved from Mississippi to Georgia to North Carolina and to Maryland. So I made my way all the way up the East Coast. So I've been in Maryland for the last 21 years. And I decided to, after my last daughter, my daughter moved out, my last daughter, but after my daughter moved out, I decided to, like I said earlier, I decided to get something off my bucket list, or what I call my bucket list, and pack up and move to California.
Which is a bucking trend, by the way, because most people are leaving California. So I mean,
it is. And all my friends were leaving California too. And they're like, man, we're leaving, the gas prices are high, the taxes are high. And they told me about all these things. And I said, I'm not moving to California for gas prices. I'm not moving for taxes. I'm moving for quality of life, for peace of mind. So a lot of different things that I moved for. that would cause other people to leave and and move out. So I do find that here. I do find peace of mind, a better quality of life. Not like I had a bad quality of life when I was over there, but I just moved for so many different reasons. Yeah. And the taxes don't bother me. I don't make enough money for that anyway, for the taxes to really bother me. The gas prices don't bother me too much. I live in a neighborhood that's kind of walkable. I can walk everywhere. Sometimes I may not drive for 3 or 4 days. My car is just parked. So I had all that kind of going around in my in my mind as well. So it's been great. I've been here for 5 months. It's been very exciting. Men's coaching I've been doing. I've been mentoring men for 45 years. Yeah. And I've been coaching men full time, like as a profession, probably for the last 5 years. I'm a certified Think and Grow Rich coach. There are no Think and Grow Rich coaches. I think the people who are in the class right now with me, we are the first Think and Grow Rich actual coaches. Nice. We're being taught by the president of Think and Grow Rich, the Think and Grow Rich Institute. Nice. I am my brand is anti-aging thinking, where I teach men how to look 30 and 60 without drugs, surgery, or expensive supplements.
And listen, if you're watching the video now, like, how old are you, Larry?
60. And some 60 plus, actually. 60
plus. see, that's what I'm saying. You never, like, literally, seriously.
Yeah, you got me. Give me something to shoot for here. I still got a few years, but I'm getting there fast with the quickness.
It does happen pretty quick.
And Think and Grow Rich is definitely one of our favorite books. With along with Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. And I've also read quite a few of Greg Reed's books as well. Greg Reed is amazing. Stickability, Thoughts Are Things, with him and Bob Proctor. So that's awesome.
Yeah, all that's great stuff, and that's how you keep your enthusiasm up as well. Yeah, reading all these positive books, it keeps you enthusiastic about living, and about life, and about life altogether.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what we're here to talk about: enthusiasm, positivity. What's your take on enthusiasm? Let's see what like. Because I mean, I think lots of times too is like I think the word enthusiasm also conjures up the word motivation, or motivated. And lots of times the way we think about it, too, is like, for me, I always tell motivation, like motivation is when you're in process already and it allows you to keep going. What's your inspiration? That's what kind of moves you. So enthusiasm, I think, encapsulates maybe all of it, but I want to get your take on what's enthusiasm to you. What's that look like? How does that kind of roll, and like, how do we actually, as men, how do we keep it? We got so many things going on. Our time is booked up with, family, with work, with this, with mowing the yard, doing all these different things. Our energy's low. When time is gone, energy's lower, and then we're not building the relationships really well with our family and our kids. So how can this enthusiasm, how can we increase our enthusiasm and our energy for life?
Dang, you challenged me, man, because you be asking like 16 questions and like one question.
Get it all out. Get it all out. Listen, I know you can handle it. I know you can handle it.
I know this is when I need my 6th grade English teacher when she's dissecting or a sentence. This is the predicate nominative. This is direct objects, and this.
Oh, you lost me right there. You said English, and I went.
I forgot you were a math teacher. Okay, let me give a math example.
2 plus 2 is 8, right?
Yeah. I'm good at math, except when you start adding the alphabet. Then I get lost.
It's all going.
Yeah, when we get that. So enthusiasm for me, I think you were on the right path with it. I look at it this way in more practical terms. It's like a truck, and cars have it too. With the truck, you have a thing called torque. Look at an engine. You have torque and you have horsepower. Enthusiasm is the torque. It's the thing that actually gets you going. I'm excited about going. I get in my truck and I hit the accelerator, and those RPMs, I rev it all the way up to the red line over there. That's enthusiasm. Then I got passion. Passion is kind of like the horsepower. That's the thing that keeps me going. Enthusiasm is torque. It gets me going, and passion about what it is I'm doing, it's the thing that keeps me going. It becomes a horsepower. So enthusiasm for me is something that gets me off the line. It gets me out of the block. It gets me out of the block. It's that thing I'm waiting for the guy. I'm in the blocks and waiting for the guy to shoot the gun off, and I'm enthusiastic. It can be nervous. It can be nervous. Some nervous energy sometimes too. Enthusiasm. On top of all that, I think that enthusiasm is one of life's most valuable emotions. As a matter of fact, I think it is life's most valuable emotion, is enthusiasm.
That's awesome.
If I'm depressed and I really want to get out of a rut, I need to find something to get enthusiastic about. If I'm anxious and I want to get out of a rut, I can do what? I can find something to get enthusiastic about. If I'm at home and my wife and my kids are driving me crazy, I think of the gym. I say, let me get to the gym. And I get all excited and get enthusiastic about going to the gym. And I go and jump in my pickup truck and I crank up that torque, get that enthusiasm going. Yeah. Press the accelerator, man, and I take off to it. So enthusiasm to me is one of life's most valuable emotions, one that we don't talk about a lot. One of the emotions that we don't talk about it, because most people don't look at enthusiasm as being an emotion. But it is. It's a state that you put yourself into. Is what enthusiasm is. I got to get happy. And men, remember, we're goal oriented. We're goal centered, right? And it's that enthusiasm that keep us setting these goals.
Correct.
Year after year. A man loses, I'm answering all your questions now.
Yeah.
A man loses.
You keep going. You keep going. Yeah. I'm taking notes like crazy. I hope your listeners, you better get pen and paper if you don't already. I know John and I got it.
Yeah, a man loses his enthusiasm when he has no goals. He has no definite purpose for himself. And always, it's kind of like getting in your truck again. When I decide I want to go to the grocery store to get something to go somewhere, I get out, I get into my truck or get into my car, and I turn it on, and I can hear it. I can hear the torque. I can, I'm ready to roll. So enthusiasm, it dies out when you quit setting goals. Watch this. When we're kids, when we're little kids are always enthusiastic about every little thing. They're enthusiastic about you ice cream, dogs. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. They're kids like that. Once we get older, and like you said, we start getting wives and we start getting kids, we start getting jobs, we start getting this. A lot of things that we were once enthusiastic about, they no longer serve us, or we push them to the back burner. We're not enthusiastic about those things. In other words, we grow up, and I think we grow up too fast. I don't think that men should grow up until they're 60. And I'm still growing.
I agree with that. My wife might not sometimes, or my kids, but I agree with it.
My kids are okay with it. They're like, Dad, you're so enthusiastic. We go to the theme parks and stuff.
My kids call that. My kids tell me I'm extra. Why are you always so extra?
They just walk away. Sometimes my kids just walk away from me. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, you're just weird. I'm like, thanks.
I got a shirt that says, it's good to be extra.
It is good to be extra. My son is that way too. Sometimes we're doing push-ups together, and we get to like 19 and he's like struggling, and I look over at him, he's like struggling. I'm on like number 34 and he's on like 20. He was like barely making it off the floor. I'm on like 40 push-ups. He said, Dad, that's extra. You don't have to do all that. You can just kind of like do your 20 and like keep on going. So I understand what you mean when you say you're doing something you're doing something extra. But that's what enthusiasm is all about. Enthusiasm is about doing that extra thing and going that extra mile, but being happy in the process.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times we do work, we do cut the yard, we do have, mundane things to do. How can I make cutting my grass an enthusiastic thing? How can I be happy about that? Does that make sense? But the problem is, as adults, we see things as work and see things as chores and see things. That's why our kids don't want to do chores, because they see us out there trying to cut the grass. It's a chore to us. Their chores become chores. They just mimic us, pretty much. Their enthusiasm comes pretty much from our enthusiasm, about things, especially when it comes to work and when it comes to chores, and things like that. They just look at us and they say, well, you know what, Dad, you feel the same way when you have to cut the grass and when you have to wash the car. Or Mom asks you to go put gas in the car, the car. You have to shovel snow. You're like, shit, I got to go shovel snow. I don't feel like doing it. They remember that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it becomes something for them. It becomes something that they can get enthusiastic about or not get enthusiastic about. Another thing about enthusiasm is that I like is that you can turn it on and off.
Yeah. There's
a switch that you can turn on and off. I can get hype about something, or I can not be hype about something. Right. And sometimes it can't come on, it can't come on by itself. I remember my first time having sex with a girl, and I was excited. I was enthusiastic about it, man. And I was so enthusiastic about it that we just started kissing and doing stuff, and shit happened before it happened. It was supposed to happen.
That's great. Been there, done that.
Says every man.
That's an example of being enthusiastic about something that you're so enthusiastic that it just happens, before it happened. But we redid it the next day, and it came out okay.
It worked out better that time.
We did a retake, the next day. It actually Yeah, it came out okay. But that's what that's what I think of enthusiasm so far. You guys can chime in if you want.
No,
There
that's
you go.
great.
Good. And you
I
know, I'll tell
love.
you one thing. One thing is, when we were talking about it, made me think of the, you know, that whole mentality of having to do something versus getting to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it with that get to mentality versus that have to mentality, it definitely is a lot better situation for sure.
So actually, that's a good point, because when you say to yourself that you actually get to do it, that's really turning on your enthusiasm.
Yep.
But how far can you take it? You see, I can throw you the ball. We're playing football. I can throw you the ball. We're playing basketball. I can pass you the ball. But are you willing to take it down the court? Are you willing to run with the ball? I've caught the ball before, and I'm like, shit, look at all these big guys coming in there. Right. Sometimes when we catch the ball like that or say, I get to do it, it can become cliche-ish, you know, to say, and I hear people say it all the time. It's not that, you know, it's not a bad thing and thing like this. Like, well, I get to do it, but then that's as far as they take it.
Right.
But do you actually go and do something? You know, do you crank up your enthusiasm and take it?
You
know,
get it done when you get to do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can you turn that passion on? Can you get that horsepower and continue to, you know, to do it? Sometimes we stop at torque. We're just in the car, just revving up our engines.
We're just making a lot of noise.
Exactly. Yep.
Making a lot of noise. No, I love it too, because what it did, and John, I'm glad you said that too, because it's one of those things that, you know, we talk about in the Brotherhood, is that line that you cross every day. You know, and to me, you know, that's where it came from. My dad lining us up on the third base line and saying, look to your right, look to your left. Those are your brothers. Now look down at your feet. Here's the line. Don't step across that line unless you're willing to give it every single thing that you got. One of the things that you said here, a man loses his enthusiasm when he has no purpose, passion, basically intention. And that line is your intention for the day. And for the day. So when I used to roll out of bed, and it came back to like, I had to get out of bed. I have to do this. Now I get to, but again, what is the intention behind the I get to, and what actions are you doing after that too? Because what happens is, as men, you know, we put our feet on the ground and just start running. And like all of a sudden our days at the end of the day, we're like, holy shit, like, what did I get done today? What did I do? And that's where it comes into feeling like, am I good enough? Do I have what it takes? Am I accomplished what I really want to? How good do I feel when I look at my life? How good do I feel about, hey, I'm really doing what I really want to with my life, and leave that legacy and build that legacy in the moment that I really want to. And lots of times when we just run, we're not doing that. And what we tell guys to do is, that line is so important. I think this is what you're talking about with enthusiasm. That line, you have to know exactly what that line means. When you wake up and give gratitude that you got another day to go after it, when your feet hit the ground, that line, you are stepping across that line and saying you are willing, as a man, as a husband, as a father, in your career, to show up a certain way, and that enthusiasm. But you have to know exactly when you cross that line, what that line's made up, and take that enthusiasm into the day and think about it. When I step across that line and I know exactly how I'm going to show up all day, dude, like, it's exciting. Like, I get to show up as an energetic, enthusiastic, positive, like, dad. I get to do that, and husband, and so forth, you know. And sometimes it's extra, but sometimes you need a little freaking extra. You know what I mean? But I think that's what you're talking about there, is when you step across that line in the morning, what intention are you giving to your day? A man without intention is a man that's not doing what he really wants to be doing with his life. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, you pretty much just reverb, you know, pretty much what you know, what we were talking about, you know, and having an intention. I mean, that's very important to do it. The thing that we have to be concerned about is make sure that our intention makes us happy.
Yeah. Because
when I make goals, I always make happy goals.
Yeah.
And when I make a happy goal, it fuels my enthusiasm. The enthusiasm has to be fueled, it has to be fed, and it has to be financed. Either I'm gonna buy myself something, I'm gonna feed myself something, or so it has to be fueled, it has to be fed, or it has to be financed.
That's awesome, man. And I'm writing it down here. So I know John, look, John has his head down too. We're both right.
Don't be watching me all the time over here.
Make a happy goal fuels my enthusiasm.
Yes. And enthusiasm has to be fueled, it has to be fed, and it has to be financed.
And that's great.
Those are the three things that feed your enthusiasm:
And I think
finances, feed, and fuel. Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
think that's awesome. No. I think that's awesome because the real thing is there too is like what keeps you going, and that's the thing is because like life gets long sometimes. The day gets long. Some days you're like, holy shit, it's only 4 o'clock and I still have all this stuff to do. Like it gets long, but how do you stay consistent with your enthusiasm, with your
And
excitement?
All right,
Go
and
ahead.
I'm gonna tell you how to stay consistent with this. Is good, isn't it? I'll tell you how
It
to
is
stay
good.
Oh yeah.
how to stay consistent with your how to stay consistent has all to do with what fuel you're running on. Now you go to the gas station with your car, you can run on 87, you can run on regular, you can run on 89, you can run on mid grade, or you can run on 93. You can run on high grade. And I have to check my intentions and I have to check my fuel and see what I'm actually putting into my mind and putting into my tank. And that's the thing that drives my enthusiasm. What type of fuel am I putting into my enthusiasm? And that's where it comes back to what you guys said earlier about, I get to do these things. So because I get to do these things, my gratitude toward those things is feeding it the best fuel I can give it.
Right on.
Because that makes the best sparks for me. The 93 makes the best sparks for me. Yeah. Now, here's another thing. If you value yourself, you will use 93 octane. If you notice cars like BMWs, Mercedes, Lexus, all your high-end cars, they require you use 93. You have to require that you use 93 for your enthusiasm and not 87. That's your responsibility. Enthusiasm is your responsibility, and how I fuel it, how I finance it, and how I feed it is left up to me. Yes. And what results from that has to do with the fuel that I use to make my enthusiasm to bring my enthusiasm to life. Does that make sense?
100%. Rewind it, people, and write that down, all of it, because that's amazing. Because it is the fuel that you put into it. When we look at the Fire 5 method, you have awareness first. You got to be aware. You just also talked about step number 2 is extreme personal responsibility. You are the one who controls what goes in your mind, in your eyes, in your mouth, in your body, and how it actually comes out, and the energy you bring to the table and your intention that you bring to your day. Then it goes to step 3, living with purpose. That purpose is that fuel, is one of those things that is the horsepower that keeps you going. And then you're looking at spreading your meaning. Because you do those things, you can spread a meaning in your message and what you have with your life and say, hey, here's who I am and here's how I'm showing up. And the last one there, now step number 5 into Fire 5 is clarifying your circle. And who you surround yourself with is so extremely important to what goes in your mind, in your eyes, and everything else. And I think it's so powerful what you just said there, dealing with enthusiasm. Let's switch over to positivity. Here's a question I have for you. People, when I was going through a lot of anxiety, things like that, and guys, you got a family, dude. You got anxiety. Okay, you're like, because there's shit you can control, but there's a lot of stuff you can't control. I got a daughter that, is graduating high school this year, going to college, and I'm like, all right, like it might be a couple hours away, and I'm like, all right, which kid do I have to make sure I have an eye on so I can choke him to death or whatever? Like, I will find you, like, like all of that. Like, then I have another one that's going to be turning 16 and it's going to be driving. Then I have my son, it's just all the time because he's like me, and I'm like, all right, what the hell is this kid going to do next? So it's like, or you look at all those things, I had a lot of anxiety, and lots of times people will say, hey man, just think more positive. What's your thoughts on that? And we're going to switch over to that positivity realm, because a lot of times we get that, well, just think more positive.
Yeah, so thinking more positive is, I believe it, is a good thing, but it's only half of it. It's like G.I. Joe used to say, knowing is half the battle. And thinking positive is pretty much,
I love it, man. Listen, sorry, I had to interrupt. You just took me back. Listen, I grew up in the Brogue. We grew up in like, my yard was dirt, okay? And we had this rock out in the middle of the yard that my brother and I, and then when my friends came over, we made roads in it, and we put the G.I. Joes up on the top, and then like the bad guys, whatever, the cobras down the bottom, and then we just bash it all. So anyways, you just took me back to that little dirt hole in the middle of our yard. So anyway, sorry, I had to interrupt there.
No, It's okay.
Field trip's over. Here we're back to back.
That was a little extra there.
Yeah, that was intentional. I intentionally crossed the line so you can come up to
You
you.
did.
I wanted to feel your enthusiasm, and I got it.
There you go. You
Yeah,
struck his
did.
inner child for
Yeah.
sure. That thing was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Hey, I had a lot of fun in that dirt hole.
You see what I just did, John? I fueled his enthusiasm. Is all
You did with high octane.
With high octane.
And then you lit it on fire. That was great.
That's
Wow,
good.
awesome.
That's good, guys. So positivity, I think there's just a lot about positivity, because positivity itself is a very general, it's a very, very general term. And I think that it does start with two things. It starts with a positive mental attitude, and it starts with gratitude.
Yes.
Are the two things that the positivity stand with. And I always like to call it an attitude of gratitude. We've been taught that, at the end of the day, write down all the things you're grateful for, and, look at it, and, and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I do not have an end of the day gratitude list. I don't have an end of the day gratitude list. I may say something, I'm thankful for all things. What I have is I have an attitude of gratitude. So I am thankful in the moment.
Yeah.
If I'm thankful in the moment, so this is let's say that I set a goal for myself. It's a happy goal. Then there's a process that goes with this goal, right? I fall in love with the process. So everything about the process, I may not love the individual ingredients, but I do love the process. And I stay positive about, the process, because I know it has because it has a happy ending. If I go through, I go through the process. So everything that happens with me during the day, whether it's negative or positive, from what my mind sees, it's a part of the process. So it turns into being positive.
Yeah.
Even if I fill out an application for a job and I don't get the job, it doesn't do anything, because filling out applications for jobs is a part of the process. The process doesn't end until I actually get a job. Yeah. Me being denied of this job means that there's probably a better job somewhere in the process. That keeps me positive throughout the process. Otherwise, I can go into depression. I can get negative. I'm like, why the hell they don't want me? Why they not hire me? They don't know what they're missing. They, it's their loss. I don't even go through all that. I'm like, oh, the process is still going on. It hadn't ended yet. It doesn't end until I reach that happy spot. Yeah. Is when it, is when it ends. So I have an attitude of gratitude, which means I'm grateful for all things. Watch this. If I can be grateful in every moment, 60 minutes from now, I've been grateful for an hour. If I can be grateful for the 12 hours that I'm awake, or 14 hours that I'm awake, I've just been grateful for 24 hours, for one day. If I can be grateful for an entire day, moment by moment, 7 of those makes an entire week. 52 of those makes an entire year. So I don't wait till the end of the year to have my gratitude. I'm happy every day of the year. If you call me anytime, Clay, you and I, we've been friends for years. If you call me any day, I still have an attitude of gratitude. It doesn't matter, because that's the fuel, and that's what fuels my enthusiasm. Anytime I get away from attitude of gratitude, I'm going from 93 to 89 to 87 octane. And I have to pull myself out of that. When I see I'm not perfect. When I see myself pulling back, and I feel my car backfiring, or or missing or something like that, I'm ready to pull back up, because I need to be up I need to be at 83 octane. You're not always there, but you have to be responsible when you see yourself going there. You have to do what? You have to be responsible for pulling yourself back up.
Correct.
And a lot of people don't want to take that responsibility.
Absolutely.
And positivity, just like enthusiasm, it's something that you get to turn on and off. It's something that you get to control. I have this thing called thinking responsibly. Thinking responsibly is kind of like drinking responsibly. It's thinking responsibly. You have to think about what you say, what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you experience, and how you respond. All those things you're responsible for thinking about. And I give an attitude of gratitude for all those things. What I see, what I hear, how I say it. You guys can say something to me and I can hear it a certain way. I'm responsible for how I heard what you said. You're not responsible for what I am. I'm responsible for how I respond to it. You're not, I am. I'm not responsible for your response. I'm responsible for my response, right? And how enthusiastic I get when I return back to you has everything to do with the type of fuel that I put in. 87 is negative fuel to me.
Yeah. Huge,
right.
Huge when you just said that. There's a couple things I heard in there. We'll dissect this part first. I was told before, E plus R equals O. The event plus your response equals the outcome. And you control the R. That's what you control. You might be able to control the event sometimes, but you always control the R. That is your responsibility. And again, it's a difference between emotionally reactive and thought reactive. You know, when we're thought reactive, we can actually make choices that are for the betterment of ourselves and the people that are around us as well, and so forth. And I love is looking at thankful in the moment. Think about, because when you're thankful in the moment and you practice that gratitude, I always say gratitude. If you want to change your life, practice gratitude. Period.
Yep.
All
The time, all the time,
Always. Always.
for everything. You
the
practice
little
all
and the big, because I think a lot of times, you know, with gratitude, people are like, well, and it's celebration. That's why, like, we did a win for the week, and we always do a win for the week in the Brotherhood to start it off. And it doesn't have to. So many times, guys are like, well, if it's a win, it has to be something big, you know. Rah! And it's like, dude, shut up. Like, I ate a really good freaking cinnamon bun yesterday. The fucking thing was amazing. Like, it was incredible. I only ate a quarter of it. I gave half to my daughter. It was amazing. It was it was great. And like, that's a win to me. That's a huge win because it was delicious. And and so when we look at those different things, you know, think about when you go into the moment with gratitude and you're consistent with gratitude, and it takes practice. It's not like I wasn't Mr. Gratitude all the time up until probably like 3 years ago. Like then, but it took practice. Well, how long did it take me to practice? It took me 3 years to get to that space where I can go gratitude and be grateful for all of the stuff that goes in my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome, and the not so awesome, like all of it. But think about the energy, that enthusiasm that it brings to you. But think of also the difference when you start thinking in gratitude, something happens to you. And instead of looking at that adversity or maybe that negative as something that is like, oh, this is bad, this is a negative, what you just said here is taking that and looking at it and saying, you know what, on the other side of that adversity is an amazing extreme advantage and extreme opportunity for me to take advantage of. And that's exciting. And for me in my past, man, it was something would happen. I'm like, oh, woe is me. You know what I mean? Like that victim mentality piece. But that's a choice I was making. When we talk about E plus R equals O, like you were saying, like that was a choice. I was choosing to respond in that way. When I choose purposefully to choose to respond with gratitude, I have different outcomes. My life is completely different than 6 years ago when all of that was going through. So what you talked about changing that drift, because I love it, because like, listen, we're human. We're going to drift. What are maybe one or two tools that you utilize to help you get back into flow, get back into that space instead of, because when you feel like you're drifting, what are maybe one or two tools that you would recommend to get back into that flow?
And I'm gonna give you my main tool, and it covers all the tools. You know, that I'm gonna give you my tool chest, and all my other tools are inside the tool chest. All right, there's this thing called you guys have seen like NASCAR racing, Indianapolis 500, and things like that, right? Yeah, and they got when something happens to a guy's car, he come into the what? Where does he stop?
In the pit row.
Oh, he stops right. He stops in pit row. A lot of times when things happen in our life, instead of making a pit stop, we make it a rest stop. And a rest stop is different than a pit stop. In a pit stop, when something's wrong with the guy's car, he knows something's wrong with it. He don't get overly emotional about it. He pulls into the pit stop where he has his pit crew. Watch this. And he's back in the race. Here's another guy who takes that same emotion and he takes it to a rest stop. He pulls his seat back, puts his foot on the dashboard, says, I'm going to, relax for 20 minutes or however long it takes, turn the radio on. He may get out, go and take a leak and talk to the other guys and talk about his woes and this and that and other. He may talk to the truck driver, stop and, got his hand on the truck driver's door and up there, man, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. The way to stay in a positive and to stay in the flow is to stop making your emotions rest stops and make them pit stops.
Nice.
And get your ass back in the race. Nice. Find some people. You need a pit crew. You know how they say you're an example of the 5 people you have in your life. Those people are your pit crew. You make sure that you have the right pit crew in your life, that when you go through your emotional shit, that you can drive in and these people know that the checker flag has not been waved yet. That is only a yellow flag. That you're in a cautionary. When I go into a rest stop with my emotions, man, that means that shit is over. I gotta talk. No. You just go into the pit stop, baby. Get those 5. Call somebody. Call John. Call Larry. Call somebody on the phone from your pit crew and let them change the tire. Let them. They'll change. Dude, they change the whole engine, like right there in the pit stop. I've seen these guys like jack the car, take like the entire engine out and put another one in. I'm like, holy shit! Like those are the people you need in your life, and that's how you keep in the flow, and that's how you keep positive. Is you don't make all these things can be memories, but you don't want to make memorabilia out of them. You don't want to turn this incident into a trophy. You don't want to turn. I don't need a certificate for it or anything like that. So that's my main thing. Is I have learned to turn my emotional things when I'm positive and I start to go into negative because of something that happened or something that didn't happen. Expectations. What do? I go to my pit crew. I pull into the pit stop. And I'm back on the road and back in life, dude. The people who are negative are people that I know are resting in their bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Happiness is a choice, man. And people need to choose it a whole hell of a lot more. That's for sure.
You are right, John. Happiness is a choice. What happens is people think that when they become successful, they'll be happy. And it's the opposite. I'm successful because I'm happy first. Happiness always precedes success. That's why you have a lot of successful people who are not happy because they thought success would make them happy. And they didn't go in with happiness. You want to go in with a positive mental attitude and you want to take I was at a party the other day for Thanksgiving and the lady said, well, did you have fun? I said, hell yeah, I had fun because I brought fun with me.
Yeah,
I came. I came with fun. She said, well,
I brought it.
I said, yes, I brought happiness. I brought happiness with me. Did you make any friends? I said, yes, because I brought a friend to the party, me. And I was able to make some other friends because of that.
And I agree, as we've all said, one, gratitude is definitely the secret sauce to life for sure. I mean, and heck, I wore my Gary V positivity and optimism shoes all day today, right there, boy. You know what I mean? Like that's my life.
I was like, did you just take that off of your foot?
I did.
That's enthusiasm right there.
I think the optimism is one of them words that needs to be tied to that as well. With the positivity and with enthusiasm, just having that optimism, that that good outlook. I think
we call it a positive mental attitude for sure.
Exactly.
You do want to have a positive mental attitude. And the only way you can do that is to take some of the cosmic debris. A lot of us can't have a positive mental attitude because we have too much bullshit already circulating around. If you go outside of the earth and go up far enough, you'll see all kinds of shit like circling the earth. They call it cosmic debris. If you move out from some people's brain, they got cosmic debris going around in there.
That just painted a whole clearer picture about a lot of people there.
Exactly. So you have to remove the cosmic debris in order to stay positive, in order to to keep a positive mental attitude. And that's important. And a lot of people don't feed their attitude positive things. They feed that, and guess where you get it from? You get it from the rest stop. You start talking to the trucker about all the things that's going on in your life. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to reciprocate. He said, oh, yeah, man, my old lady did the same thing. I remember when she did this, when she did that. And it's just more cosmic debris. And they just add more shit to what
let me throw some of all my junk in your car with you. Too, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's what the rest stop is all about.
Let's keep filling up the trash can. Keep filling up the trash can.
At a pit stop, they don't leave anything, don't they? They take everything off the road that's on there. Everything they brought on, they take it with them. They take it back. They don't throw the tools in the car, the spare parts in the car. They don't. Everything stays with whoever took it off, and the guy who took the wheel off, he rolls it into somewhere. I don't know where he takes it back into wherever they go. But they never throw the spare tire into the car. They never throw engine parts into the car. But when you step into a rest stop, everything is thrown back on you, and you leave the rest stop feeling tireder and more weary, more depressed, more anxious than you did when you pulled up in the first place.
Yep. Right. Boom. Woof.
That's going to be some good clippage right there. I'm telling you what, there's some nuggets right there. Just total bomb dropping.
Rewind it, write it down. Rewind it, write it down. And listen, we always got to think with our time, with our energy, and our relationships. Where are you spending your time, your energy, and your relationships? Why are you spending your time, energy, and relationships on that? And is it moving you towards where you and is your time, energy, and where you're putting your time, energy, and relationships at? Is it actually moving you forward towards where you really want to go? Those are the 3 questions we should be asking ourselves all of the time.
Can I say something about that? Can I say something about that real quick? Time, energy, and relationship. Which one is the most important? do you think is the most important?
To me, the relationship with myself is the most important.
And
And
John,
that's
Yeah, I
which one you
agree.
think? Okay.
I agree.
Now, I'm going to disagree. Not for
Okay.
disagree's sake. I'm going to disagree. Your energy
Mhm.
is the most
Mhm.
important one. Because if I don't have the energy, I won't even talk to myself. I won't
That's
even get
true.
up. I won't take a shower. I won't do anything
That's
if
good.
I don't have the energy to do it. I can have all the time in the world, but if I don't have the energy to do it, I can have 24 hours in my day. And if I don't have the energy, the stamina, the vitality
Yeah.
to get up and actually move and do it, it will not get
Yeah.
done.
Mm.
I can even talk to myself. This is what I'll say. I say, you know what, Larry, you need to get up and send Clay that picture that he asked for, for you need to send that bio he asked for, right there. I got time to do it because you told me like yesterday or day before yesterday, you told me I have time to do it. I didn't have the energy to do it.
Gotcha.
I didn't have the energy to do it. And it was all the way up until the time, an hour before that I actually got the energy to do it. I had the time. I had a good relationship with myself, but I
There you
didn't
go.
have the energy.
Yeah. And that's all, like, that's great, because when we look at that, it does, like, that is where, as I'm processing this in my brain, is as we go through and I'm building that relationship myself, that has to take energy, and that's why for me, my relationship with myself extends out to everything else, but I have
It
to have
does.
the energy to build that,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And that's not something that I have thought about. So that's
Yeah, because if you're half-assing with the energy with yourself, you're gonna half-ass with the energy with your
correct.
kids. You're gonna half-ass with the
100%.
energy with your wife. And us as a man, we have to have energy not only for ourselves, we have to have energy for the rest of our family as well.
Mhm.
We have to have the energy for our job. We have to have the energy to provide, to protect. We have to generate a hell of a lot more energy than
Yep.
most people do, than other genders do. Not saying that women don't have to generate energy too, but there's our energy. It's a lot of physical energy and a lot of mental energy. Now, here's the thing: how do you keep that energy up? Or how it's going back to the 87, 89, and 93 octane, doesn't it? That's why energy is so important. What are you putting in your body? Because it's what you put in that creates that energy for you. What you feed your brain, what you feed your mind, and what you feed your body, and how you exercise, everything to do with the energy. And it has everything to do with how you relate to yourself, how you relate to others, and watch this, how efficient and how effective you are with your time.
Mm.
I can stretch time out with the right energy because
Yep.
I can do more in less time. Have you guys
100%.
ever done something? You've done it
Oh,
and you
yeah.
say, man, I used to come home this way. It takes me 20 minutes. I found this new way to come home. It only takes me 10 minutes. So what you've done is you've gotten better with your time. And now you've moved all your energy over to this other place that takes 10 minutes. What did that do? That gave you 10 minutes of extra time to do something.
Yep.
And to do
Awesome.
something different. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what I used to do with that 10 minutes. When I didn't feel like going in the house right away, I just spend 10 minutes in my car listening to the radio before I have to hear my wife when I go in the house.
You got to be careful not to do it in your driveway sometimes, because
do.
they'll look out and see, and she'll be like,
Yeah, I
what were
know.
you doing out
Yeah,
there for
what
so
were you doing
long?
for 10 minutes? It's like, honey, wait a minute. I say, honey, I was thinking about you for 10 minutes.
That's good. It was all good. It was all good stuff. It was all good stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, we are wrapping up to the end here. Larry, give us,
All right.
we're looking at, you give us a ton of nuggets, ton of information here. That is awesome. It's useful. And if you look through, if you go back and listen, there's going to be a ton of tools that you can all use. I'm picking up many of the different, like the pit stop, the things that were in the pit stop. When you start talking about the different things that are in the pit stop and how each person has a different individual role there, you're talking about clarifying your circle. You're talking about all these other pieces, ownership. You're talking about purpose. You're talking about time management. You're talking about energy management. That's a huge one, energy management there too. So all of these different things were a ton of different tools. So we go back through there. But what would you say are your top 3 tools that would help men be able to keep that enthusiasm and that positivity up? What would you say your top 3 are that you would recommend?
I think having a positive mental attitude for sure is it's going to be one. Having a definite purpose and intention, about yourself, and having a pleasant personality. A lot of men don't have a pleasant personality. Our shit. We just we talk to people anyway. We talk to ourselves, and in any kind of way, and we just don't have a pleasing personality. So I would say that for sure. Positive mental attitude, definite purpose, and a pleasant personality.
That's all. Actually, that's actually awesome. Thought there, because there's many times I'll use my dad as an example. Everybody thought my dad was just pissed off all the time. I'm like, that's just his face. You know, I think he's actually really nice, you know, but he's the eyebrows down, the handle, I don't know, what do you call that? Fu Manchu or something like
The Fu
that.
Manchu, yeah.
Had the handle, I had the handlebars came down. And he just, you know, he's a coach standing on the sideline, all his arms crossed. I was like, if you actually talk to him, he's actually kind of nice, you know.
Nice.
You know, but yeah.
One more thing I want to leave you with, Clay, too. When we talked about having that pit crew and having that team of 5, because we hear that a lot. You know, we're a replica of the 5 people that we have, and you guys have seen a truck before too, and it has what they call a 5th wheel. Mm-hmm. And of the 5 people, you're one of those 5 people who are who are on your team. What I tell people is this: don't become the 5th wheel of your team. What does a 5th wheel do on the back of a truck? It carries the load of everything else on the truck. You don't want to be the one to carry the load of your entire team. And sometimes we find ourselves the smartest person on our team. You don't want to be the smartest person on your pit crew. You don't want to be the 5th wheel.
Nope. Or what'd you say before, John? The 5th dumbass.
Same thing. You don't want everybody to come in and connect to you, and you have to pull everybody through. If all your friends you find yourself pulling through, you have to go pick them up. You have to do this. Sometimes you have to pay for this. I left my wallet. I did this. They can't. If you get thrown in jail, they can't bail you out. You don't want to be that with your pit crew. You do want to choose you said it earlier, and that's why I said it is. You do want to choose your pit crew very carefully. People who have different skills, than you have, so that everybody carries their weight. And you don't end up being a 5th wheel.
100%. I think one of the I'm going to add another step to that as well is make sure that everybody in your pit crew, you know why they're there and what you need them for. Yeah. I think one times we just say, hey, this is a really good person. Let's put that in here. But why do you need that person? Why are they there? There needs to be a specific reason of why they are there, and why you call on them. If this is finances, I'm going to this dude. If this is my relationship, I'm going to this person. If this is this, I'm going to this person. And also being able to say, hey, what am I giving back to that? As well. What do I need from them? But what can I help them with? You might be in their circle, you might not be, but you can also give back as well to those things, because that makes you better no matter what. So love the conversation, Larry. We're going to transition into the quick hit Q&A. You got 5 seconds to answer 10 questions. You ready?
Okay.
Are we ready?
All right.
You said I have 5 seconds to answer 10 questions.
Seconds,
That's like
5 seconds for each question. 5 seconds for each question.
Okay, let's do it. 5 seconds for all questions. Already.
We're gonna get you talking like that legal guy on the commercials before it's all over.
Or listen, the guy that's on the what is it? The commercials where you're like, no, wait, did you just say sudden instant death? What is it? The prescription drug ones. Man, those are like horrible. Some of the things like bleeding from your earlobe. What? I can bleed from my earlobe? Yeah. What the hell?
All right, here we go.
All right, number one.
Here it is. All right, start with number 1. What's your favorite animal?
Dogs.
Work or play?
Play.
What's your favorite word?
Enthusiasm. That's an easy one. Yeah.
Top book recommendation for our listeners.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Who's your hero?
My dad.
What's your deepest fear?
My deepest fear is my own insecurities.
Love it.
If you could go back in time to change any part of your life, would you?
No.
What do you wish you would have learned sooner?
How to handle money.
Yes.
Do you prefer the soft cloud version or the sword version of the truth?
Of the truth?
Yep.
The sword is fine. I can take it. Yeah, bring it on, baby.
And the last one. What is your biggest strength?
Talking. Communication.
I agree. Totally agree.
I agree.
Totally agree. And as I said at the beginning, guys, if you're listening to this and you're not enthusiastic right now, you're not positive, you're not ready to go out and just like light it up. I don't know. Like you need to find your pit crew and then change some stuff, get your ass back out in the race. So
that's good, Clay. It's like
where can people connect with you at, Larry?
On you can come IG, just Lawrence McNair, LAWRENCE McNair. And you can do Facebook is the same. If you want to connect with me, just DM me and I'll get back with you.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, thank you, Larry, for being here. Guys, I know you got a ton out of this. And again, just as always, download this for future use. Go back, rewind it, write some notes down, take it again. And then here's what we ask you to do. Review, rate, make sure you get on there, because the more that you do that, the more we get shared out. And also go share this with one other man that you know that's definitely going to get something out of this because you did. So
Clay, also, you know, if any of you guys, you know, look at this or watch this or listen to this and you get something out of it that's, you know, really good, DM me and send me a DM, you know, to Lawrence McNair on Facebook and Lawrence McNair on IG, and let me know your thoughts. I'm not perfect, you know, obviously this is a conversation that, you know, that we're having. If you agree with something and it resonates, say yay, and if you disagree, you know, let me know why, and we can get into, you know, a dialogue about it. Maybe we can come on this show and get into a dialogue about
absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Love it. So yeah, absolutely. Reach out to us, reach out to Larry. Just an amazing friend, amazing guy, amazing man, husband, father.
I can't believe you've been hiding him from me for this long.
That's good, John. That's good, John.
That is good. I don't even have a response for that. So awesome. Well, I appreciate it. And again, guys, just go share this with one other person out there. Larry, thank you for being here with us tonight. Talk about enthusiasm, positivity. Find your pit crew, do those things, stay consistent, build intention, build enthusiasm. Put that right fuel in you so that you can go be a man that's on purpose and on fire every single day. So appreciate you. Have a great week, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.